You can't break down, but you're scared.
He was perfectly healthy before then. We really didn't even know anything was wrong.
People say, how do you do it? Well, do I have another choice?
Even though he's not here, I've drawn so much inspiration, and I still have so much hope.
You are not alone, and you will never be alone.
I just can't thank Courtney's Courage enough. They paid for our electricity bills, our water bills, and at that point we were barely surviving. They also financially helped us with gas cards, food cards. You don't think about how important those little things are because everyone just has $20, and $20 isn't that big of a deal. But when you're in cancer mode, $20 is that big of a deal.
It's not a quick fix. Like as if a kid broke their bone, their arm's in a cast for 6 weeks and then they're done and they move on. Kids who have cancer diagnoses are in treatment for months, years at a time. And so the fact that Courtney's Courage has already been able to help some of the families I work with pay for multiple months of cell phone bills or water bills is beneficial because then parents don't have to worry, oh, I need to get that paid. How am I going to pay that this month and the next month? And they can just know, have a peace of mind that it's taken care of, and they can really just focus on taking care of their kids and their families and themselves too. You know, it just kind of takes that stress off for a while, and it's also helps me in my job in knowing that, you know, it's taken care of for this family for this amount of time, and I can, you know, help other families as well.
It was just surreal. I wanted somebody to say the word, she has cancer, but nobody would say it. Nobody would tell me that that's what it was. Knowing where we were going to the 6th floor, we knew what it was. And it was just a big, like you were just in this tunnel. When I first went to the mom's dinner out that was hosted by Courtney's Courage, I didn't know exactly what to expect. I realized that it's not all sad. There are good moments. There are laughs to be shared and stories and such important milestones that their kids go through, that Emmy goes through, that you can encourage each other. You're just sitting at a table with other moms, and it's fun. I didn't think I was gonna have fun. You can go through a dark moment and still shine a light on somebody else's life. You can still have a positive outlook. You can still smile, and it's okay. I will be hosting the first Spanish mom dinner out with Kathy. I feel privileged, hoping that these moms have the same experience that I had and that other moms have had in the past, where they can share their stories, they can share their laughs, and they can just have a nice dinner.
Axel was the most generous and kind little human imaginable. There are people that still contact me, and it's been almost a year and a half, and tell me how much Axel changed them. I was in such a bad place after my son passed away. I couldn't get out of bed, you know, and I had Kathy texting me, you know, you need to fill out the bereavement retreat stuff, and you need to come, and we want you there. And it was just such a push to just, at that point, just get out of bed. That bereavement retreat was probably one of the most healing things that I did after my son passed away. I attended the bereavement retreat, which was the first one, and it was only maybe 4 or 5 months after my son had passed, so I thought it was going to be very, very difficult. I went and I didn't know if I was going to be able to speak or if I was just going to cry the entire time, but it wasn't like that. They had horseback riding and these amazing pools and so much stuff I was able to do with my children. It really brought our family closer together. We took these gorgeous pictures at the end that have really helped me. I have them hung in my house. Courtney's courage, when I started my own business in honor of my son, Kathy contacted me and she loved what I was making, and she gave me a chance to bring my son into your organization and help other cancer children. And I wouldn't have had that. And I've drawn so much inspiration to just keep going because of that, and because Courtney's courage gave me a chance.
Here I am taking part in the research that's being done from Courtney's Courage. Typically, patients who are diagnosed with neuroblastoma will have to undergo many different forms of chemotherapy or different drugs or different procedures that will start to cause their immune system to fail. And so what these patients will undergo is called an autologous stem cell transplant, where these patients' own stem cells and their own blood cells are collected, and then they are saved to be used after a very high dose chemotherapy that essentially wipes out their immune system. With funds from Courtney's Courage, we're going to use some different drugs that we think will affect this in a positive way. Some of our previous research has shown that exercise can actually increase some different cells of the immune system that have very high anti-cancer properties. But having a patient undergo some exercise routines would be quite difficult, as these patients are very sick and they probably don't want to get up and run. So we can use drugs that will mimic the effects of exercise, such as ones that act like adrenaline or norepinephrine. The one in this instance is called isoproterenol. And so our thinking is that because ISO can improve the properties of these anti-cancer cells, that this is a cost-effective and relatively easy way to implement into the clinic of favorably manipulating the graft before a stem cell transplant.
All these therapies would not have been possible without seed money, such as the funds that we've had over the years from Courtney's Courage, that allows us to have ideas and be able to perform experiments to actually show that these ideas can lead to new therapies. And when we have the data that is needed, we are able to get larger grants, federal funding, to have multi-year projects, which then lead to clinical trials, which we have been able to do.
On behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to thank each sponsor and each participant here today. Our grassroots organization began in 1999 around the bedside of one little girl battling cancer, Courtney Page Zillman. Because of you, we are able to fund much needed childhood cancer research. We also provide assistance programs to children being treated for cancer and their families at a most difficult time. Please know that you are a critical and important part in helping us further our mission. Without you, our seeking a cure and strengthening families would not be possible.